This story doesn't have a happy ending. This story is ongoing and continues to this day. Maybe I can one day get that happy ending so often talked about, but in all likelihood, that day will never come. To those who know me, this will not come as a shock to any of you. I have depression. This is something I have had a hard time coming to terms with and denied on multiple accounts, but it's true. I don't know exactly when it started. I have always been a pessimistic person and felt alone at times, but I thought that just came with being human, right? So then feeling that no one will ever like me and want to be my friend should be normal too. Feeling like I am terrible at everything I try and having people avoid me comes with the territory. That's life, I thought. There's nothing I can do about this. Freshman year, I stayed in my room for meals except breakfasts because I felt like no one would like me. How could they? I'm too different. I didn't have too many friends except the ones who were around me and in my dorm. And when lunchtime came, I would just go back to my room and study or do homework. No one invited me to lunch, so clearly no one wanted me there. And why would they want me when they could have anyone else and be just as happy? Besides, I had work to do, and work is always more important than eating. This is where the story gets happy, and I do start eating next year. In the beginning of my sophomore year, I gained new friends who I felt understood me. I was a bit apprehensive at first to trust these people, but as time went on, my disposition improved. This is when, for the first time here, I start to feel like people care about me. And yet, I still have this persistent feeling of, why me? Why would people like me? I don't have any redeeming qualities. Why be friends with me when you can be happier when you are friends with someone who is actually a happy and optimistic person? Looking back on it now, my problems were still there, but they weren't as ostensible as they were before. The thing about depression is that it is always there, even though I was having a happier time. Some people feel like an imposter when they have depression because the depression isn't as apparent or outward. They feel like they can't say they are depressed because things are good. This doesn't mean that the depression is gone or was just a phase. This just means that at this particular time, things are okay. And now, this is the worst part, my junior year. The thing is, I don't really have an explanation for the reason why that year was so terrible. Depression just becomes more present at times. It's not as easy as just being happy when you have a mental illness that makes it seem like the world is ending all the time. It doesn't work to just tell someone to be happy. During my junior year, I couldn't help myself or do anything other than go to school and do homework. I couldn't bring myself to be with friends. They wouldn't care. The thing is, most people don't seem to like to be around other people who aren't happy. This is what some people told me around this time. A very real voice inside my head would always say, they don't care about you. They don't have a reason to care. You are nothing but a selfish person who wants attention from someone. You want someone or something to give you any type of self-worth, but it never comes and will never come. And that's just how life is. It isn't fair, and people won't be there when you need them. This is the harsh struggle I've had during my time here. I used to think the definition of friendship was someone who is there for you during the good times and the bad. But at times, it has seemed like friendship is often an agreement to be around someone when it's convenient for them. It seems to me that maybe most people don't want to be around other people who don't make them feel good, or maybe some people don't know how to be around other people like me, or sometimes it feels like they don't want to try. So this is why I feel no one would want to be around me. Around this time, I hit my lowest point of that year. I stopped eating so I could avoid going to the dining hall. No one wanted me there anyway, not when they could be perfectly happy without me. I only ate what was in my room and tried to avoid people at all costs, as to not burden them with my unhappy presence. They have other things to do that are more important than be around me, so why should I bother them? That may not be their intention, but this is how I felt. This is probably when I should have realized something was wrong. I still have had a hard time dealing with the fact that I have a mental illness, but at least it has a name now. I was showing many signs of being depressed. I was always sad and could only focus on trying to do well in school. I isolated myself because I thought that was what everyone wanted. I generally felt hopeless about my state and about everything. I also had lost the happiness I had before. I cried frequently, sometimes multiple times during the day, and I just couldn't bear to be around people anymore. These people didn't want me. It was around this point when I realized I did actually have depression. I always thought depression was wanting to kill yourself constantly, but it's not. That's just a side effect sometimes. These thoughts happen very rarely, but they do occasionally. I thought that nothing good would ever happen to me, and I deserved everything I was getting. One really bad point was when I swore off food until I did well on all my tests and got the highest marks possible, because maybe then I would have some self-worth. I didn't go through with this, but I have attempted multiple times. I did have some people who forced me to eat to make sure I wasn't actively dying, and if it wasn't for a certain person who really did express my idea of friendship, I don't know what would have happened to me. Most people don't get it. They don't know how to deal with someone who's unstable most of the time. I'll go from shouting about how I think dogs should vote to staying in my room for hours because I don't think any of my friends would want to see me or be around me. I don't require that much to feel better. Even asking me to specifically do something would be great and not make me feel terrible. I just want to be included and remembered by those close to me. If you can deal with me, I'd like to be remembered in your plans. I got through my junior year with each day feeling exactly the same and just wanting to take the shortest route possible out of it. But the important thing is I made it. This brings us to present day. Like I said, this story doesn't have a happy ending. I am depressed, and it won't just go away. I frequently feel like I am the most selfish person for wanting the bare minimum of attention. But isn't that what we all want? Attention? I've gotten suggestions from people on what to do, but honestly, instead of suggestions, I would really just like people to be there for me. I also just don't have time, and I have so much work to do. Work comes first in my life. Health and everything else comes after. I have to do well on everything in order to not feel like I'm worthless. I still cry from the unbearable feeling of thinking I'm not good for anything and I'm only good at nothing. There are so many people out there who are so fantastic, and I'm so mediocre. With that said, I'm not just my depression. I'm also a person with complex emotions and interests. But in order to actually know me, it's important to know that I am more than the quirky girl who owns a myriad of tights. It's important to understand that my depression does control my thinking most of the time, and it shapes how I understand the world and what friends are. I often still can't tell who my friends are at this point. It feels like a lot of people are there for when I'm happy, not when I'm sad. I do not know if people just have a hard time being friends with me or being friends with the depressed version of me. Will you take anything away from this? You can try to prove me wrong. Tell someone you actually do care and take the time to talk to people like me. You can invite these people to your outings because that shows them you care, and keep inviting them so they still know they are welcomed. Just knowing they're welcome to be around you makes a difference. Even letting them sit with you at lunch and acknowledging their presence by talking to them over dinner speaks volumes in how much you care. Just know that being happy is not like an on-off switch. People can't be happy all the time when they have depression. Maybe you'll forget about this specific speech, and I will continue on, just being another person living my life in a world full of endless people doing the exact same. Thank you for letting me steal your time.